So I had a question today in an overview. What do you do if you have been working with a client for a long time, a year or so, and then you run out of topics?
That's never happened. Is this, is this a theoretical question or is this really happening?
This is really happening.
Really happening. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So they have no more topics?
We're feeling pressure. The coach is feeling pressure, which is, I was curious about whether the coach is in coach mode or not, if they're feeling the pressure of topics running out. Like, whose agenda is it?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's similar to saying, uh, I have achieved a state in my life where I have nothing on my to do list and no major challenges facing me. I don't know anyone who has had. Is anyone there? If anyone's there, like, please let me know how you've
Let us
accomplished.
know. I want to
Please,
know.
yes. Like, I will, I will be your student. Teach me the ways. That in really truly that is the perspective to take if that really is the case. I was once working with a student. She was started working with her in eighth grade. I worked with her all the way through her high school, and it was amazing. It was such a privilege to watch a young person work through growing up mindfully and to see it just she's it was amazing. Like, she flourished. She got into the program she wanted. It was picture perfect. Anyway, so here she is. Started working with her as an eighth grader. Somewhere I think around 10th grade, we did a Wheel of Life, and she scored a 10. She gave herself a 9 or 10 on nearly all of the different areas of her life. And I remember just sitting there, and she wasn't exaggerating. Like, it wasn't like she just was giving tens because, like, this was the easy thing to do. She's like, really, truly, like, it's good. Like, my relationship with my parents, it's great. My grades, they're great. My friends, they're great. Like, and you're in high school, and your area of concern might not be the largest, but it's still like, okay, she did that. We called that the golden space. We made a name for it. And this idea of, like what would it really be to get into a golden space where you really would look at your life and rate it very, very high in satisfaction. And in that session, it was, okay, you're here. Like, what's it like here? What are you noticing here? What's different about here from your usual? There's a curiosity to it, but in the sense of, like, I want to be the student of what you've created, like the action steps you've created to get to this place. Um, I tried it once myself, getting into the golden space. I I remember I did it for I did it for about an hour. I pushed really hard on my life for a period of time, and I got my email inbox down to zero, and everything was done. Like, I had my client sessions lined up. I was, you know, there were still to dos, but they were far off in the distance, and I just was sitting there waiting for every single email to come in. I would respond to it immediately, and just because I wanted to be in this space, and I did this for about an hour. But the problem I was having was that when I was sending these out, people would also respond back really quickly because they know, oh, okay, he's responding really quickly. So I tried to respond, and I knew the more I was sending out, the more I'd get back, and then something distracted me, and I never got back to it. And I've had this theoretical, like, maybe I can get back to the golden space, like the golden space someday. Mm.
So you actually generated work for yourself in that
Right, right.
space.
So
And what
I hope that helps. You know what I mean? I hope that helps gives perspective on even when there's a challenge, like, you insert, like, like, almost like fill in the blank challenge. The answer is always curiosity.
that's the beauties, and there's always coaching questions that you can ask. And I'm thinking back to also what you said about Laura Whitworth and, firing your client, but yet maybe it's you're checking in and saying, have we naturally come to an end here? I have clients that we pause with, and sometimes they might come back after 6 months, or they've achieved their first set of goals. So for me, sometimes it might be we pause, so we do that check-in. And the other thing I like to do as well is all my clients at the beginning get an intake form when they start the journey. So if it feels that they're naturally coming to an end, we review that intake form and their goals that they set, and they can reflect back on where they are now, what they've achieved. And it might be, because I have clients say, well, I don't know what I want to focus on now, but I want to keep coaching with you. So it might be that we do a new intake form. They get opportunity to reflect and set new goals as well.
Mm-hmm. There is value too in on the executive level, even student level, when you identify an objective that's real, that's not real, like, okay, so that's aligns with what their normal focus, what their natural focus would be anyway. For instance, they need to reach a certain financial number each quarter, and they obsess about it. If the coaching and if the coaching to do or action step is something like, I need to write my novel, like I need to do something completely separate from that main objective, sometimes it's very hard to get accountability for those kind of things. And I feel like that kind of conversation is very different from we're creating coaching, like action steps that are in alignment with your usual focus, and they're not following through on those. I feel like those are two different pathways to take as well. Most of my work was with students, some was with executives, but I found the very best action steps, or the most useful action steps, were often in alignment with the to-dos that they had to do anyway. So it was like, I need to do this. I need to basically do taxes, but do them from this perspective. That's my coaching homework. It's not necessarily to do something completely separate from taxes.
Oh, you had to mention taxes, didn't you, John? So many people.
January, get them done now. Get them done now, and give them to your CPA. They will appreciate it, because this is actually a really slow time for them. Well, not super. You know what I mean? It's revving up, but most people aren't ready yet. So,
such great words of wisdom. Thanks.
Last year was the first year I had not had to file an extension. So, my goodness.
Get them in now. Okay, so final question, John, since it's a new year. Put taxes to one side.
I know, I used to feel like, okay, so everyone breathe in. Sorry I mentioned those.
I don't know anyone that doesn't happen to when I talk about taxes. That's another story.
I was at a dinner party once, and there was a guy, we were talking about taxes. He says January 1, his habit is to do his taxes. And he said it's brilliant, because that's when all the things come out. You know exactly where you're at, and then he knows exactly how much money he's going to either pay or receive. And it gives him the optimum amount of happiness, because it's the optimum number of days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if he waited another day, he would be not giving himself the satisfaction of having learned that knowledge the day before.
Oh.
Yeah. Woo! There are levels of human development that I'm in awe of. And I mean, what are you going to say to him? Like, yes, how do you learn that?
Wow. That is inspirational.